what we've got here, so we have your spiccato etude.
I forgot what it was called, but I know it's the Kreutzer.
So it's
I
number
labeled
5.
everything and
Okay.
I labeled
Wow,
everything.
you're organized. Now,
Sometimes.
you had this memorized, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I haven't commented on the recording that you sent me. Now, the second half actually was coming pretty well. There's always something that happens around this area and this area in each one of the sequences. Are you aware that? I just want to make sure that we can see.
It's fine.
Maybe we can move just a little bit here. Yes. Okay. So you can see, I will be able to see you there. Yeah. And so why don't we start with this? Are you warm enough to be playing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So if you are warm and supple enough, I will need a few minutes if I have to play. Let's give it a try and let's see if we can kind of get our ears to work right away with what we're doing with the bows. So what I want you to zoom in is I want you to hear all of the extra noises that do not belong to the music. Are you aware of them while we play?
No.
Okay, so that's what we want to learn. We want to learn to hear ourselves when we're producing things that don't necessarily come all that great. So, so that beginning, when you go from the single stop to the double stop, you want to do that very clean. Now, this one, this transition, you want to be completely clean with no noises, no out of tune notes. Give it a try. You're hearing that now. So, do you understand between which notes the problem is? Because the problems, when they occur, they're between the notes, they're not on the notes.
It's like the shifting to the note.
Right, exactly. So can you just slowly examine how exactly you need to move in order to get the result you want to hear?
Yeah.
Particular shift there, and you need to practice going up and going down because you have to understand how you're connecting those two sonorities. Yes. So, with the bow, on which string are you connecting the crossing?
The A and D.
Yes, because, the A string, because that's the common string between those. So you want. We're not doing that. So can we do it in slow motion? So you have a complete, clear understanding how that connection works. What do you need to hear on the first finger?
Like
going from which note to which note? It's the shift is there, but from which pitch to which pitch do you go with the first finger?
So if you want to shift to second.
So from B flat to C, how long is that distance?
Step and a half, I think.
Step and a half. Can you be a little bit more precise with that? Hear it again.
It's a whole step.
So it's important to have that kind of mental mapping well established. Now, can you so it's just one position distance. It's just a whole step distance. Now, can you make sure that the fingers drop down together and the bow comes to the D string together with the fingers? Yes. It shouldn't be jerky, right? Do you mind getting rid of the gum? Is that okay? Do you have a piece of gum?
Yeah, I do.
Do you mind not chewing and playing the violin?
Sorry.
I think that if you play the cello, you might get away with that. Maybe if you play the piano, but playing the violin is a very...
Yeah, I had it in the car and then I spit it out because
sorry.
I didn't really have
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Gum and baseball hats are the... Yeah, so I'll... Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Alright, so let's go back to this. So we want it not to be jerky, right? Oops, I did exactly what I heard you do. So do you hear what we're going at?
Ooh.
Right. Right. Now, to make the shift very smooth from double string to double stop to double stop, what do we need to do on the junction between the two when we're on a single string?
I don't know.
Okay, so the bow needs to get lighter because if we are to make good sound on one string, we need weight X. If we have to do good sound on two strings, we need the weight from the bow to be 2x, 2 times x. So if this is 2 times x, 1 time x, 2 times x. So that's much better. That's much better. Now, now, if you have to do the same thing backwards, so you will be sliding on the 4th finger on the A string. So can you do that? Do you know why we started shifts going up and down, and not just in the direction in which we need them? Okay, which you feel stronger about, the note on which you start or the note on which you arrive?
When I start.
Right, so when you reverse the shift, that note on which you have arrived, that becomes your starting note. So you get this sense of security and knowing where that places. So practicing up and down reinforces the shift, makes it much better. Won't get confused doing that. So can you try it?
Do I start going up and then down?
Yeah, going up and then going down. And then you slide in the pinky. Yes. Light, heavy, light, heavy. Yes. So, do you feel the rhythm of the shift now? Great. Now let's see if we can put this in the context of the etude. It's kind of cool exercise because it will keep you engaged all the time because these things come on in every measure. Oops, clean. Yeah, and you know the thing by memory. You don't need to be turning toward the stands and all that. So feel comfortable. So feel in your body and in full control.
Oh my gosh.
missing the second. What is the hand structure for that? Neutral, open, or closed?
Closed.
Right. So what do we need to do for closed hand structure? Do we go this way or yes, exactly. So you need to supinate a little bit more. And now in the process here, if you lock your first finger, it becomes very difficult to supinate. So give more room on this side here. So sorry, and your first finger should be already on the fifth, right? Then another shift in the same kind. Okay, so your first finger is on the fifth here, right? You need to do a little bit of space and just because you need the clearance here. It's your the back of your finger hitting the E string that is making that noise. Good. First and the third position here. Can we figure it out? Oh, you're going way too far back. Between the yes, from the open A and the F. So just. We're in half position, right? We've been playing in half position for some time. So your second finger is with what shape? Square or extended? For square. For the pattern in which you are in half position? If you have an E flat and then F natural?
It's extended.
Yes. Now when you get to the third position for this, what happens? What is the shape?
It's square.
Yes. So that's what you're not accounting for. So can we practice just the second finger? The change of shape there. So extended and now square. And the F, yes. So that's what's going to help you be in tune there. Now, can we try? That's the idea. Now that you hear when things are not good in between the notes, do you think you have the tools to clean it up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going because I want you to keep listening and reacting to what needs to get fixed.
I don't know.
So, on which string do you accomplish the connection between the notes?
Okay.
Right. So, and it's a descending shift. So, should it be on the new finger or on the old finger? What do we do it? Yes, that's the only way to do it on the descending shifts. You can do so So we've got this. That's what needs to happen there. Right, and now are we in half position or in first position once we arrive down? Right, so the shape of the second finger should be what?
Square.
Right, so make sure that just happens. Let's keep going. Careful with that funny noise that happens. So I put the fourth finger right before the bow goes there. And the movement with the bow actually for this cannot be gradual. Because if it's gradual, you will sneak in on the new note. It will go like this. So it's instantly two very distinct levels of so single note, double note, X, 2X. Yes. Yeah, so a little bit more sudden with this. So this is one level, and then it has to be instantly level for the two strings. And when you move to the two strings, it's not just the angle, you have to double the pressure. Remember that. Okay, so let's figure out this one. Yeah. What's the next thing?
Audio. So you have to reconstitute the normal shape of the hand together with the shifter. The funny noise there. Oops, now here. Now, so this is what kind of third Ella? And this one is? It could be either minor or major. Yes, so it is a major third. So it's two very different thirds. Now, for the major, the fingers need to be closer because they're across the string, and we also have moved up to third position, which makes the spaces what, larger or smaller? Yeah, so it needs to shrink even more as you go to third position. So can you make sure that the fingers move appropriately? Oops. Right, so which finger did you have to adjust? The third.
Right, so from extended, because we're kind of in a half position state, we need to go to square third finger.
and it's just very very strong feel in the hand for wide, narrow. Yes. Yeah, and maybe practicing in pairs is better rather than one finger at a time. You can hear them one by one, but while you're sounding one voice, make sure that the other finger is down because that's the ultimate test. Good. More square third finger? Yes. By how much do you need to adjust that third finger?
A little bit.
Is it like a millimeter?
It's too high. So
Yeah, but how high is it? Is it half a step? Is it quarter of a step? An eighth of a step? 16th of a step? What do you think?
a quarter of a step.
Yeah, just in between a quarter and an eighth of a step. It's maybe 1/6 of a step, something like that. Yeah. So that's like a millimeter, even less on this. Now, can you play the interval in the first position? Now, pat your bow. Don't make a sound with the bow, but move the hand and just make the adjustment as you feel it, where the finger needs to be right in tune for that F. And now play. Yes. Now, can we do that like 3 times in a row? For sensing. Right? Do it. In other words, you don't need to hear the finger sliding to know that you're in tune. You just have to know where you're going. Right. One more time. Good job. And now let's see if we can put that in the context of the music. Good. Go on. Yeah. Good job. Now, do we need da da da? Do we need this big accent there? So yes, we're finishing on a single stop and then playing on the double stop is going to make an impact, but we have to do it in a very sensible way, so we don't get that accent. So let's see if we can do it. Clean. Good job. Nice. Okay, let's hear which voice we need to adjust. So play them one by one. So what is happening on the octave? Which voice is out? By how much and in which direction?
It's too flat, but like a little bit.
By how much though?
It's more like
Okay, so is it again? The question is half step, quarter of a step, eighth of a step, and so on. Yeah, it's a tiny bit, but in an octave it shows big time. So can you play the fourth finger C, which is remarkably in tune? Good. Yes, and now again,
it's
let's
almost like a
yeah.
half step.
So let's see if we can retrain the hand to go to the correct spot. Now that you know by how much you need to move the finger. So again, because your fourth finger is absolutely on the pitch there. And then without the bow making a sound, adjust where you think it's going to be in tune and just play the 2 notes. Now, with octaves, there is also the issue of voicing. On which voice do we need to be heavier with the bow?
The lower string.
Right, are you? So even though in this case, because the top voice is the one in tune and we're tuning to the lower voice, you actually have to be heavier with the bow on the one that you tend to play out of tune. So, get it. Right. Try to build the octave the other way. Build it from the first finger going up. So, how many half steps do we have in this? I mean, how many whole and how many half steps do we have in this hand structure? Two whole
steps.
and how many halves? One half. That's always the case when we have an octave. It's two whole steps and a half step. Now, how you distribute that? It's your personal preference in the hand, but you might want to measure that with the middle fingers. I prefer whole half when I'm playing octaves. Some people prefer half whole. It's entirely personal. Some like the half step in the middle. Well, just make sure that it's stopping the string with plenty of meat on both sides, not too much pressure. So more with the bow on the lower strings. Your bow is missing the low string. So look, now can we do? What am I showing you? Do you hear what I'm showing you? Being really heavy on the G string and much lighter on the D string. So, can you do that? 3 pairs on each bow. Right, so do you feel it in your index finger? The way now. Let's see, after we've done this sensitizing exercise, if you play the octave with a really good voicing. That's much better. So you want the top voice to kind of be embraced in the overtones of the bottom voice. Do you know what I'm talking about? The overtones?
Sort of. I've heard undertones, but not over.
Undertones? Like the third tone? Like when you play, there's that. There's the third tone. That would be an undertone. Overtones, like the harmonics. The harmonics are overtones of the fundamental there. So the first. Can you touch the middle of the string here? We will make a very fancy artificial harmonic. So that's this note here. So you want when your top finger is playing, you want it to blend within the sonority of the bass. So to the point that it almost hides in that, and if it's out of tune, it won't sound. Are you okay? Because you're making those. Do you need to sit down or stretch?
I'm just.
Okay, if you need to just put the violin down and stretch, it's totally fine.
Sorry.
Huh?
I'm good.
Do you need a snack?
I'm good.
A drink of water? Okay, so let's go back into this and see if we can find that octave sonority. Ooh, that's good. Good. can you play them starting together from the beginning? Perfect. And now let's see if we can put that in the context of the etude. But let's play. Yeah, so you have to crawl across, lighten up the finger right before you have to play the fifth, so it can easily roll into the second string. That fourth finger moving? Half step or whole step? Yeah, it needs to be a little bit wider. So just and to lighten it up. During the slide it has to be very light. Yes. Good job. Never go into that mode of playing. You want to sound musical. If you just, it's like, I don't care. I just have to get through this somehow. These are actually very beautiful intervals because you hear, well, what's supposed to be unison. So we're cheating a little bit because we're not really playing a unison, just one note, right? But then we hear the second, then the third, then the fourth. So it opens up like a flower, because the two voices kind of diverge from one another. So enjoy that motion, don't just playing this. So miraculous it is to start from just it's like a single seed, then it grows a little bit, keeps growing, like growing roots into the ground, right? So until it reaches a whole octave on that. So enjoy it. But that first note, what is happening? See, I can't believe I just did this. Oh, just put a nick into my violin. Darn it. Because I was imitating what you were doing there.
Sorry.
So don't do it, okay? So you want to place the bow and start with consistent, beautiful sound. Can you look at your bow and do you visualize what needs to happen? So it's the string that is moving under the hair, and it has to move for about that much. And it has to be with very even, smooth sound. we start from the string? Do we start from the air? And this is not a trick question because the answer
from
is
the air, but I don't know.
now. When do we start from the air?
Like right
Now, why do you do that?
there. I don't know.
Have you been taught to do that, or is that something that you think should
I just kind of gradually go into it. So it's not.
okay now? But do we want the sound that is that the effect we want? Yes. So maybe starting from there is not a good decision for this. Do you remember this touch and go thing that I say all the time about the start of the sound? Your bow has to touch this thing, and then you go. Okay, so it's not like whenever you're going to hit the string, you already have to be in contact with the string. Now, if you want to make a strong consonant thing, then you put a little bit more pressure so you kind of catch the string with the bow, and then that makes the consonant. Now, in this case, we don't need that. We want soft consonant. So you touch, so the bow is there in piano. And then the moment you start moving the bow, that's when you add the amount of pressure you need for that note, which is more than what that touch. So the touch is very gentle, very, very small, but the string and the bow have already met. That's the important thing. It's not, this is very risky, unpredictable. Well, one thing you can predict is that it's not going to sound good. So can you get rid of that fuzz before the sound? That's what you want. So touch and go, fine. And now try touching the string with a little bit more on the side here. Yes, yes. So. Good. Another chance to play an octave. Can you make it ring and sound beautiful? It's the B flat octave. Yes. So find the tone for that. Which string do you need more on with the bow? So play the bottom first so you establish nice. And now, yes. So that's the sonority you need for the end of that. Can you get there? From look at the music because I can't help you.
Oh, that's it.
I think you start with the B flat. Yeah, it's third line there. Yeah, but let's get well there. Yes, let's try that one more time because we have all of these challenges, technical challenges to do. So we have to start from the string, then we have to get cleanly to the double note. And again, remember, those are two distinct levels, two distinct weights. Start from the string, touch and go. Is that you're thinking, oh, I need to diminuendo, and you're absolutely right because that's how the shape needs to go. But you're diminuendoing the bass notes. How about you play the bass notes out more, but you make more diminuendo on the top voice? Let's clean that up. So touch and go. Better. That's better sounding. Much better sounding.
Also, before I forget.
Yeah.
Again. This is for the next two lessons because we don't have any change.
Oh,
so
thank you for that.
I'll remind you
just
someday.
yeah, okay.
So sorry.
Thank you.
Didn't want to forget because I did before. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. The brain works in mysterious ways, right? So let's keep going. This was really great sonority there. Go on. So same issues from the string. Oops. Let's stabilize with the bow that G. Okay, so we've got the shift and we've got the octave also to add to the challenges. Not from the air, Ella. So always feel the security of that meeting of the string and the bow. Cleanliness. Look at the text if you need. I don't have that memorized there, so. Okay, we're getting it. So beautiful tone. Always. So always search for that free, beautiful sounding sonority. Never force it. From the string. From the string. Look at the text. Nice ending there. So now I know you're sick and tired of this edge, but with these new tasks, do you think you can spend another week on it and really clean it up?
I'll try.
This kind of cleaning work has to become something that you love doing.
I mean, I do like doing it. It's kind of long, so it's like, wait, I'm kind of tired of this in the middle, and then you get back into it, and you're like, okay.
Well, but the thing is that the etude is different enough because the first half is one type of sequences, the second half is with the slightly different challenges. So you have already done the difficult work, which is the memorization. And cleaning it up, it's a little bit like putting nice makeup on it because all of the hard work is already done. So it's just a question of how can I get in a more skillful way from this sonority to that sonority? It's, yeah. Okay, do we need a little break?
I don't know.
I think we do. So let's take a little break. We can.
I can pause it. I
Yeah, we can pause that. And the sun is up, and the fog has lifted, and
For the first time in a while.
so how about we start with your bruch?
Oh, dang. Yay.
Why ding?
Dang.
Is
I
that
like
the
the
approval or disapproval?
Both. I think.
Oh,
Oh.
alright. So let's hear.
The first and second movement, or just the second?
No, just the second movement. You know, for a while, I think we're done with the first. I think we need to get away from it and then come back to it.
Okay, I'll try.
Now, did you bring me copies? Do you know about bringing me copies? Have I told you about that? Now, the thing is that if your piece is not memorized and you need to use music, you need to bring me an extra copy which I can mark. Because how do I mark your music if you're using it?
Okay, so, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so for the future, even if it's an etude, whatever it is, if it's not memorized, you bring me a copy of your music. That's how it works.
So,
Alright.
I'll just I'll copy the clean version again, and I can do it.
I need to have your markings.
Oh, you have to
on
have
it.
my markings?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll copy it.
Well, by your markings, I mean the markings that you're playing. I don't need all of the text that we've put in there for you, but I
can make copies of the clean version, and then I'll write in my fingerings, and then it'll be...
Yes. So that's why when we start working on a new piece and you have a clean copy from which you start, make 2 copies of that. Okay. One for you, one for me, and then we use them.
Okay, I'll take the time to do that someday.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a printer at the hotel?
Yeah.
Somehow. I didn't know there was. There was like a
Oh,
whole...
there were always printers.
There's like a business room. It
yes.
Was strange.
All hotels have that, yes.
I had to sign into my Gmail and then I had to type it.
You just make sure that you log out and that you erase the history and all that.
I had to do that. And other people's accounts were on there. I was like, I'm not going to go into
exactly.
there because I don't know what's going to be there. So...
So it sounds very tight. No, I mean throughout this. What era piece is this? Is this a classical piece? Is this a romantic piece? Is this a modern piece? Or Baroque piece? You have no idea.
I think it's Baroque.
Baroque?
Baroque.
do you know what these words connotate?
No, I know Romance is like romantic. I know classical is like
Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven are the so that's typical classic. Baroque is which composer is Baroque? Yes, say it. No, I saw your lips going into Bach, Handel, Vivaldi. These guys are typical Baroque composers.
Oh, I remember now. It's not.
Yeah, so that's the earliest era that we
played it Baroque, but when it wasn't supposed to be Baroque. And I think I don't know.
Before which piece was that? What Baroque piece? Vivaldi. We worked on Vivaldi a little bit. Well, we didn't really, but we ran through.
I've played a lot of Bach.
But you've played a lot of Bach, so you've played a lot of Baroque music. Now, so Baroque is the earliest. we're talking, it starts 1600, year 1600 with the birth of opera. That's when the Baroque era begins. And then it goes, it kind of, there's some pre-classical things that happen, but usually the benchmark is 1750 for the beginning of the classical era. So that's also the year when Bach died, 1750. So 1600 to 1750, you've got Baroque. And then 1750 to about 1800, 1800 plus, you've got the classical era. And early Beethoven is still classical, but then it transitions towards romantic. So Beethoven is kind of in the middle of things. And in many ways, in music, they consider him to be the person, instrumental in bringing the romantic era. And then, what romantic composers can we think of?
I don't really know composers.
The one we're playing there, that's a romantic composer. Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know other German composers? Do you know Brahms?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time romantic guy. Have you heard of Wagner? Richard Wagner.
I need to look up some composers.
Oh, he's a great opera composer. Great German composer. Also romantic composer, and completely opposite from Brahms, because romantic music has to do with program music a lot of the time. A lot of nationalism goes into romantic music, and just as its name suggests, it's just the expression, it's just the ultra enhanced, and usually in romantic music we play with much more connected bow strokes. In classical music, what do we do? The notes usually they don't touch, right? There's always a little bit of air unless they're under a slur. That's a principle for the romantic music and for a lot of the Baroque music as well. In classical music, things tend to be much more legato, much more sung, with much more sustained and kind of thicker colors. And how do we make thick on a string instrument?
You get heavier and like more lower. Not lower, but like a...
Lower, what lower? You mean deeper into the string?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to describe?
Sort of.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But then, what about the left hand? What do you think the vibrato should be doing?
Very wide and...
quite involved, very intense. Yes. So maybe not very wide, because then
not
we
very,
get into,
but like
wider.
wide
Yes, and fast. Those, and also you have to vary it big time for because it participates very much in the shaping of a phrase. So your vibrato, the intensity of it really has to mimic the intensity of the phrase.
Okay.
So with those things in mind, why don't we start over one more time and see if all of those things can sound more in that romantic fashion.
I also have questions about bowings.
Oh, where?
So I've been working on the
Oh, that's for the new part. The
Yes,
one that
but
we
this-
okay.
it said I changed it to what it was.
You changed it to the print, or
I changed it to
yeah, it should
what I
be
did
the
right
way it's
here.
here. Yes,
But
you're
it
absolutely
said
right.
it was down bow, then up bow, and then
Yeah, but
down.
this is the hand original, right?
Yes, but I did.
Didn't I give you something with markings?
You did, and the first one was marked with an up bow. I thought.
Yeah, I just with an up bow, and the second
So
time it
just
should be
that-
the second time it should have been marked with up bow too. Did you
And
consult it?
Yes, I did. And on this, it said it was up down, but then it wouldn't result in a. That's supposed to be up. So would it?
So up, no, just should be an up bow.
I know. I'm saying that it won't.
It is an up bow.
I know, but if I started.
Yeah, you need to start it down. The way you have it, that's how it ends up.
Okay,
Yes.
I was just making sure because
Yeah. Okay, we
I
can
can
get there.
figure it out, and this is messy. I need to clean it, but they do.
So let's start over and pay attention to our stylistic rendition. So touch and go. You're right. Dear girl, somehow we got turned around big time.
I know.
So, where was it? Yeah, you took an extra bow here, so that's why things then started working really against you. So, you have to remember to save your bow. Now, what is your dynamic for the first 4 bars?
Piano, it says.
Yes, and then we crescendo, right? Now, it got too hot way too soon. So, save that for a little bit later, because
Okay.
as the line grows, so does the dynamic.
Okay.
The vibrato was great most of the time, but not
It was-
every note
it was like-
got it.
It
So
was uneven. It was like faster on some notes and like.
well, but it's good to have it faster on some notes because not all notes are created equal. And that's what the vibrato is supposed to. It's supposed to color them as needed. Years ago when I lived in Cleveland, we went to the house. Have a seat because this is a story. It's just a story I want to tell you. You need to hear it.
I'll sit right here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I was teaching at Angkor, and the faculty there was a lot of them were Cleveland Institute faculty, and David Saron was the president of the institute at the time, and he was very much in charge of the fundraising and connections with the community, and he was always on the lookout for wealthy people donating instruments to the institute. And this guy, who was the founder of First Bank in Ohio, had invited us to go there and look at his instrument collection. And we expected to see, old violins and cellos and so on, and it was nothing like that. It was this enormous house filled with mechanical instruments, like mechanical violins, street organs, all sorts of contraptions. There were dozens and dozens of them. It was like a museum of that, and it was enormous. So the house was built on a hill. So the kind of the residential area was up there, and then the rest, which finished with this enormous organ parlor, where he had bought a theater organ, and this thing has thousands of pipes. So he had bought that and built a hall for that in his own residence there. So this whole thing, it was unbelievable. So every one of those things had its own remote control to be turned on because these are mechanical instruments of some sort. And one of the things that absolutely creeped me out were the mechanical violins. And there were different grades of those mechanical instruments. Some of them were just extremely simple, elementary, playing basically fill tunes. And now instead of a bow, there's this little roller that keeps on rolling on the instrument, and that's what makes the sound. So mechanical fingers,
So
I
is
guess,
it like-
stopping.
So was it like real wood, but it was just like mechanical?
Yeah, it was real wood. Everything is like what you see.
What's the mechanical stuff playing?
The mechanical stuff is playing it.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. But now, what really creeped me out was the vibrato machine, because there was just this little mechanism that kept pulling the string back and forth in order to change the pitch, and of course it was pulling it back and forth with exactly the same speed, and so you got continuous vibrato. and it was awful because every note was colored exactly the same way, and there was also no accounting for, okay, this is the beginning of the note, so it has to start from the pitch. So it was just thing that kept oscillating, and wow, distorting the pitch on everything. It was the creepiest thing to look at and listen to. So you don't want your vibrato to be mechanical like this. We talk about continuous vibrato because we don't want the vibrato to die out at the end of the note. So, but it's not a question that you just you go and do that. It has to. You have to feel the beginning of each note with the finger. You have to color everything, otherwise it becomes just weird place.
Do you think there will be like a video of it?
Of the mechanical thing. The thing is that guy died 2 years later. He was going to a ball game, and he was in his limo, and he had a heart attack in the limo during traffic, and he died right there. Yeah. I don't know what happened to that collection and what was, but we were, because they were also piano players. They were like a dozen grand pianos in that house, with the rolls set up to be piano piano players.
Sorry, if you took like the mechanical stuff off, would it just be a regular instrument?
Yeah.
So you just added all that stuff on.
Yeah. Now there were some very sophisticated mechanical violins that they would be, like big cabinets, because it just takes a lot of sophistication to be able to play things like double stops to make the timing uneven. All of the musical things that we do as humans when we play. So it required a lot of adjusting to the mechanical stuff, and the more adjustments you do, the bigger things become, and more sophisticated, more complicated. But your bridge is really not straight.
It's not? Do you want to fix it?
No, not right now.
Okay.
It's your next break. So let's go ahead and play the bruch.
Okay.
So I'll fix it afterwards when we take the next break. So vibrato. From the start of the note. So instantly, yes. So touch and go with the bow. Look, it's already fortissimo on this. So it has to sound very pale, very, very intimate, very internal. Just opening. Yes. Now, Ella, when you come down here on this big interval, do you think it has to sound da-ra-ra, or is it da-ra-ra? There's a little bit of a sign there. Do you think you need to shouldn't be digging so deep into the string despite the forte? Yeah, let's do it in a more sensible way. Touch and go. So. Poetic, very poetic, very special atmosphere here on this. It's a little bit like fog above a lake in the early morning. Just think, what the orchestra plays, what the connection from the first movement, that bridge is, and how magical it is, and then you just and you can play as soft as you want here with this. Wait, maybe not in the 8th sound point, but in this. don't look at my vibrato because I'm very cold at this point. And but what I wanted to show is the magic from the bow that goes with this. Okay. It doesn't have to be very loud. If you play with good tone, it will project over the orchestra. Oh. So tilt the hair a little bit toward you. Yes, touch and go, and instantly trigger the vibrato. Oh, I love the vibrato that you got on the first finger. Now, the second finger just has to be much more poetic. It has to shimmer. Just imagine that mist coming out of the water. And can we do it without that bulge? Did you hear the bulge in that part? Yeah. It wasn't the vibrato, it was the bow suddenly doing that. So a real bow control and just shimmer with the vibrato. Can the vibrato be again freer? Yeah. So now let's try that with a little bit more at an angle like this. Now, so in a slow movement, the finger shapes are not going to be too square, because you want to use more of the pad of the finger to kind of cushion the sound. So let's hear what this is going to sound like. Yeah. That's a better one. Now, don't be so heavy with the bow into the string, so very delicate here. So again, let's work it this way. See, you can still get plenty of amplitude on the vibrato. It's just using the meatier part of the finger for it. Yes. That is such a... Can just the building the sound be done in a more sensible way? So let it grow. Yes. Yeah. Let's do this one more time. Let's find it is much more noble expression in this. You don't need to force anything. It's not like, oh, I see crescendo and I'm going to be a really good student and play the crescendo. Be a musician. I admire so much whoever was the decorator for this house. Because my friend used to live in a mansion at Utica Square. So this condo here is a distillation of what the big house had there. So it's the best of the best here. And just the way that they rearranged everything, the same type of mind that would look at the space and decide, okay, I like that mirror and those lamps there with the masks would look really cool in that thing. That's what you need to do to the music that you're playing. So you know in what style you want to decorate it. You know the general character that the music has. And then you're the decorator. You also make all of those really refined objects that fill in the space there with your vibrato and with the way you create the vibrations in the string. So create something that's absolutely exquisite.
That's right.
This was so much better. Good. Now, were you listening to yourself?
Yeah.
So a lot of it was really beautiful. There was one spot that kind of took us away from that beauty. Where was that?
Wasn't it da 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 da?
Exactly. It was that sigh coming down, and that's a shift. In technical terms, that's a shift. In musical terms, that's a portamento. portamento. Do you know those very delicate slides that singers do from note to note? That's a portamento, and that's what you want to create on this. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. You know what the technique of the shift is, so just employ that knowledge to make something that's exquisite. Yes, that's much better. So it shouldn't be abrupt when you get to the note of arrival down there. So there's this element of almost like stretching something. Let's try that one more time. And such a special note, yes, that's E flat. Let's not rush when we come down. This is almost as if it's out of time. Here. So you have to land with more poise here on this. Now, do you also hear that is small? Yes, because we have that note of the resolution, and then new phrase with a new color.
Okay.
Let's try. Ooh, they fly too. So maybe it has a friend out there. The duck. Ah. What is too abrupt to me is your bow speed on the G. You go da da. So. Yes, and now can you do it in the bow direction in which you will actually be playing that? Something with the bow is not right.
Yeah.
So it is the down bow. Up, down, down, down. And now, with which finger are you coming down here? It says one. That actually might be easier.
Yeah.
Could you try that? Let's do it. Up, down, one, one. Oh, you will hit your bow there. Yeah.
That'd be best.
So let's do it here. Yes, and now Ella, look, as you come down, do you feel how the bow gets much lighter once you start playing here? So let that happen. We need to have that slight release, otherwise it's relentless sustaining. Because we also have to make the crescendo here. So this is where we prepare that. We need to start less at the beginning of the crescendo. Yes, and now also with your bow, you need to shift. So you need to make this shift as you go from the high note to the lower note. How many G's in a row? So let's not count this one. Is it 3?
4.
4 of them. So the fourth one is with a different finger. Now, how are you going to show that they're different?
I'm gonna try to crescendo and make it more like a...
Here's a question for you also. What happens in the orchestra? Are they harmonized exactly the same way?
I don't think so.
So the notes change in the orchestra for each one of them, which means that they are actually different harmonies. So it's not the same note, even though it's the same pitch.
Yeah.
So you can we just zoom in on those? and make sure that there is distinct difference between all of them. Just the G's. If you start them too loud, yes, so again, my hand is a little bit too cold for but do you see also how with the bow each one grows until it leads to the next one? Now don't do continuous vibrato because that will become like that mechanical violin I was telling you about. So the vibrato needs to restart on each note, but instantly. Okay, so you keep calling. And then on the note on which we change the finger, the second finger is going to give you a wider vibrato, so you do that. So let's see. Can you start at the tip? Start that at the tip and start it like mezzo piano-ish range and crescendo. Yes. Now, if you crescendo too much on those three notes, what do you do on the fourth? You die. So don't crescendo too much on those three. So again, do it not in a forced way. It has to be artful. Too big. It's too big. Right. Now, did you notice da?
Yeah, I stopped.
Are you cold? Are you cold as me? Because I'm stopping. Okay, let's turn on the hand warmer. Or let's keep playing because that will keep you warm. Yeah, go ahead. But while we're backwards with the bows. So up, down, to the frog. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the note that starts in the full forte compared to all of them. And then, yes. So also wait while we're playing it to hear the sound letting off a little bit. Again, this is not a relentless sostenuto. We have to sustain the sound, but it has to be shaped within this ebb and flow. So it needs to lighten up before it gets resolved instead of instead of that. Now, can we do that one more time? And now, Ella, let's try a different tactic for the crescendo repeated Gs. Instead of doing it so much with pressure, can we do it with bow speed instead? So don't feel restricted with the bow. That that third note, use the full bow, but let it breathe. Now slow bow. Yes. Yes. And now how loud and how sudden do you want that to be? If it's sudden, it sounds very jerky and just dreamy thing. Because this is like, the early morning waking up, you're still kind of half in a dreamy place, how your brain works differently when right after sleep. So this is the state that you want to recreate through the line that you're playing. And if you start it with just you go it's
it's like your mom just barged in saying, "Why aren't you up yet?"
Well, but that's not.
It's not. What
I mean, you're already you're up. You're looking at this gorgeous landscape there with the fog rising above the water and all that. You're up, and it's a summer morning, and it's fresh and there's probably dew on the grass, and so everything is just absolutely fabulous. That's what you want to recreate with this music. Let's give it a try one more time. From the top, yes, at the beginning. Oh no! From from the beginning of the yes. So touch and go. Can you also help that transparency of the sound? Raise your wrist a little bit. Yes. So just let the bow hover very. But that's too pleasant. You heard it. It's too delicate. Yes. Almost with whisper. Yes. You messed up the bows. Yeah. What was it that I wanted to tell you? Yes, about the coupling of notes. Now, how do you hear this one and this one? How do they relate to one another?
They're both like getting quieter.
One is the resolution of the other. Which is the resolution? Yes. Which means that it needs to be less. Do you understand why?
Because you're about to start like a new phrase.
Okay, it has nothing to do with the new phrase after that. Look, the direction in music is from dissonance to consonance. Dissonance always means tension, consonance always means resolution. So, more, less, more, less. So, in what you're playing, if you always observe this rule that the dissonant things, they bring in more tension, and then you have to find where it resolves. If you show that, it will sound musical no matter what. Do you remember the term appoggiatura?
Sort of. Not really.
Okay, so let's play a little bit, and we will get to some appoggiaturas, and we will bring that idea again of tension and resolution. On that first first theme, first line, first phrase, whatever that is. Now, Ella, the thing is that you always have to feel it when you play it. You can't learn by rote this kind of thing. So when you start playing the music, you have to be in the mindset of producing this kind of things. Because you've got the technique. You get around the instrument, so as long as you give yourself the right commands to do that, it just happens right away. It sounded absolutely gorgeous. You will hear that on the recording at home. That's to it. Yeah, you might want to actually make a little clip from that, because it was really gorgeous. Now, can we do it with the right bowing? Oh, sorry to be such a stick in the mud, but yeah, we need that because, I don't need to explain why. You know that. Yes. And now, since we're going to continue, once you get to the G string bit, what is the dynamic there?
The G string, the da 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 da.
No, just one.
It's sort of on the da 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 before it has a crescendo.
Okay, but what is the dynamic?
You're in like a
Crescendo is not a dynamic. Crescendo is variance within. But what is the actual dynamic? Actually, so we have that form for the E flat, yeah.
It says that, and then it crescendos on the G, but then it kind of goes down. So you have to like not crescendo, but like make it more of a.
Now, look, here he's very specific that this starts forte. If we really count the crescendos and diminuends, you might say, oh, he wrote forte here, this will be also forte. Let's consider this a lesser dynamic. So we're still in that dreamy place. Now forte here. And you should probably do the bowing here. That would be better. And I wouldn't say anger. This is very noble.
I didn't mean
here.
it to be anger. I didn't know the word, but like anger was out.
Noble. Because you wanted it to be out more, right? Like an outburst of some sort. Think about it as being very noble. That's what we meant. Okay? So that will be the real forte. So this one is still kind of whispery. So play with the and a really good rhythm, don't go. So the again. So do you see this? It's an accent, but let's treat it like a long decrescendo. Here on this one, and again here, up here on this.
Do I start from the beginning?
No, let's start from that pulsatory. That's on the double G. Yes, so that lilt in the rhythm has to be there. I see what the problem is here. You're overholding.
Yeah.
It's the bow division, or actually bow distribution, that is messing you up. Because you finish at the tip and then all of a sudden you have to spend a very quick bow on that tempo. So how can you make it quick without getting a false accent?
You could keep your bow even. Not even, but like keep it not.
So it needs to be fast, right? No question about that, because you have to get to
When
the
it's
frog.
fast, but your bow fingers need to move like not with.
How about what about the bow weight? I don't care about the left hand in this. It has nothing to do with this. It's all about the bow. This.
You have to be more like.
If you don't want for it to sound like an accent
You have to
or heavy,
make it like
super
on the
light.
down bow. You have to make it lighter, and on the.
No. It's
No,
the pickup. The pickup is on the up bow.
At the front, you have to make it like lighter, and at the tip, you have to make it like.
Oh, yeah, so you're
it's-
thinking about evening out, but look, I'm talking about two different things. So you're doing so this is very slow bow, right? We phrase here, and now you go.
Oh, so you have to.
So it has to be very light. Now, do you also see that I'm helping with the sound point on that? Because you have only 1/8 worth of up bow, you've got 3/8 worth of a down bow. So, and ideally, if we start on the pickup, we will start it down here, right? But we don't have that luxury. So your pickup has to bring you to the frog, and it has to be with very light bow.
Here.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay, do it. You feel like you're restricted and you have to stop. So, yes, so very light. that. Just pick up is going to be without the lightness. Now take a look at the dynamic expressions for
It's like a accent, not accent at the beginning, but like.
Now, an accent also, some people interpret that as a very short diminuendo.
Just got dark.
Yes. Clouds, yeah. So, so that's the note on which we lean. And that technically will be an appoggiatura. That's what it means in Italian. Appoggiatura is something on which we, I think the verb is appoggiato or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so appoggiatura. So those are they're non-chord notes. Do you understand what that means, non-chord note? So if you say, let's say you have C, E, G. An appoggiatura in that harmony will be.
So it wouldn't be in like.
It's the foreign note that gets resolved, and that note is the one that carries the tension, and that's the one that you need to play out more. So if you treat here. The note in which you lean against more. So that's yes, light. Yeah, but can you get yourself all the way to the frog? So yes, and again strong, light. Yes, and now just found it. Do we have a diminuendo on that?
No.
So let's keep that nice and strong. Not forced, but supported, let's say. Right. Slow bow, and now very noble here. Do you want to do it again? The entire opening phrase with this kind of direction?
Sure.
So think, feel. It's very important that you feel it and you have a mental concept of it as you play. Were you bothered by this particular slide? Make it very, you can slide a little bit if you want, but make it very gentle and very tasteful. A slide like that is like, putting some sort of a tacky doily in this house. Yeah, so let's not do that. Now let's take another break. So
and then we can help me with my bridge. Maybe.
yeah, I'll help.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, it's on the stand. Okay, now let's go on.
Okay.
So at this point, we are getting out of that dreamy stasis, right?
Yeah.
Because the figuration in the orchestra becomes much more active, and then you have to spin this beautiful melody. Let's start there and see what happens.
aesthetic standpoint, what would you like to change in what you just did?
Probably some of the probably some of the dynamics.
Which dynamics?
Like make it like stronger, not strong. I don't know.
Where would you like to make it stronger?
Not like stronger, but like more like out.
Yeah, you've kept the crescendo, but I think you produced enough volume. To me, this thing here could be like, now, look at this.
Looking.
You see all the bubbles inside?
Yeah.
Now, do you also remember what that looked like, the kettle when the water was boiling on the inside? But it wasn't indicating that the whole thing was boiling, it was just with this. So your vibrato needs to create this sort of thing. It needs to have just something is bubbling within. With the bow, you cannot be too strong, you cannot be too heavy. But the vibrato has to be the vehicle that makes the expression. Just think about the line and it still has that little note. So let's find the color for the awakening. Yeah, so Ella, try with lighter finger. Now, do you remember when we were doing the heavy light exercises? From the Fisher, yeah. So use that, but give it some swing as well. Yes, because it has to be very, very. It has to. It has to pulse. It has to flutter. So from the string, and trigger the vibrato together with the bow. Yes. Yes. Okay. So you're running out of steam. So we have just a fluttery thing here on this. Right. Now suddenly you have to sustain this. Is it up on the? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So that's on an bow. Now, Ella, really listen very carefully how you're treating that rhythm once you get to it. Because how many times later on do we have that?
A lot.
How many? Count in this phrase. You need to know.
1, 2, 3. I think.
Is it only 3?
Well, including the.
Okay, so we've got the 3 times that we hear, and then the echo, right? So it's 4
I was
total.
counting
Yeah.
the 3 here, but I thought
Okay, but not the echo yet. So they need to sound more or less the same. Obviously, there are some different dynamic things that happen there, but rhythmically and articulation wise, yeah, they have to be very, very similar. So how about we start right on. Now again, for the pickup, I call it a pickup, although in this case it's on the downbeat, but it just has that feel for a pickup, right? You have to use again the whole bow, so it has to be with a light bow. And then on the down bow, you have to slow down the bow. Here.
then look, it sounds very relentless with the bow. It has to be much more exquisite. Right. And now I hear your bowing. I don't hear the musical line. So slow bow. Right. And now should the B flat be stronger than what you're playing on the A string? Is that so? It's the other way around. So again, we have that falling sixth. So the resolution has to be much more gentle. And then, or you're playing that on the A string.
I like to. I read it in the other way, but it's. I like.
Let's do the sigh. So it doesn't have to be one of those, inappropriate. Just very gentle. And then again, now look, we don't have any crescendo. Because the line goes up, it will naturally make a little bit of crescendo, but we're still in this piano bubbly thing, like in the kettle there. So. Now, start. So we've got those three incredible statements with, huh?
Okay. Do I say from the?
From there, yes, please. You ran out of bow. So, yam papa. So, right. Really right on the pickup. So, whole bow all the way to the frog. Yes. So you can sustain. Not so heavy. Not so heavy. Light. Right. You can do a better job on that. Is it up? It's supposed to. Is it?
No, it's not.
This time it's down. Let's do one more time from so that's on the whole bow, whole light bow. It's too heavy. Try to lighten it. So just okay. So the pickup is light, but then when you play the 2 8 notes on the down bow, they need to be with slow bow and a little bit deeper in the string and sustained. So you will lighten up on the slide. Too heavy. So light. You're not sustaining. Okay, so the up bow is light. The up bow is light. Now, on those 2 notes you want to sustain and sing through them, and this one just makes a natural diminuendo after that. So those 2 are sustained. Slow bow, and you have to make the necessary adjustments as you reach the tip.
Gosh.
Crescendo now. Yeah, and you have to know which one is which of those. So the first one is the simple one, yes. So the first one is with without the trill. Ya, ya, ra, ra, ra. So how beautifully can you play this? Now echo. What is an echo? Is the echo
What?
louder or softer? Yeah, so the first one needs to be stronger, in other words. Can you start it from yam ba ra 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 with a little bit more presence? But, Ella, it looks and sounds dead because you go. You're playing it like this. So, how about some vibrato? And again, feel the beauty of every note. Right, and now echo. So much softer. So change the character of the tone. So again, just whisper, much lighter. With a little bit of hiss in the sound, this time it has the trill. So vibrate before and after. Yes, before and after the shift. Otherwise, the shift sound. Yes.
Oh, shifted too hard.
Okay, now how are you shaping the end of the phrase? Is it da ra da or da ra da? Now I'm again hearing your bowings and not the music. Let's change that. Let's correct it. Also here on you're in the golden register on that E string. Can the vibrato be looser, quicker, shimmery? It really has to shimmer. Ooh, that's so much nicer. Just one suggestion for the shimmery stuff. Would it be possible for you to try something? Now, place your finger there. Yeah, is this the most stable degree that you feel for it? Don't you feel more stable with the fingertip like this and covering the fingerboard at this angle? Because do you see how the fingerboard slopes at this point? The shape is different than the one in first position, so it just will give you more security. So let's see what that sounds like. I like it. How do you like it?
I think it's better.
I also think it's better. So use that. Just kind of think for tone pieces, playing more on the pad of the finger instead of on the fingertip. It's a very common thing. Good. So the tone from the left hand is much better. Now we need better bow distribution though, because there seems to be something that is not really utilized. So. So you need to use more bow on these, because this is a very kind of lots of
rhetoric in that. Und this, so don't suffocate the sound. It needs movement. So give it lots of wind. Not enough bow. Yes. No, it's up, down, up. Yes, and then ta-ra-da needs to start at the frog. At the frog, not in the lower half, at the frog. Yes. Yes, and you need to sustain. Oh, you need to sustain better through all of this. See, this is your highest note at this point. It's so triumphant, so big. You have to show that with your with those two notes arriving into it, and then. So again, shape and sustain. Ta. To the frog. Yes. Let's have one more time. Now here, yes. Good. Like that. How did you like it?
Yeah.
There was one place where you lost control, right?
Yeah.
You got a little bit hysterical there, so that's what needs to get fixed. But that's you're on the right track with the rest. You want to try one more time? Your head is getting tired. I can see that in your eyes. Let's try. Nice. Next one. Let's figure out what's happening here because your bow distribution is scaring me. Okay, so again, you need to bring yourself low enough on the bow so you've got enough room for these three notes because this is grand. At this point, it's all grand playing. So could we do one more time from here and be careful with that. Yeah, we've got an appoggiatura here. Ta-dum, ta-dum, leanless, ta-dum. Okay, so don't play it backwards. Don't do that. Now, I have a very mathematical question for you.
Oh no, I'm not good at math.
It sounds that way. That's why I want for us to clear something. Now, are these notes the same value as these?
No,
Are they faster? Are they slower?
they are slower.
Correct. You are good at math. Now, can you put that into use?
Yeah.
Now, I have another question for you. Are these the same speed as these?
No,
Are they faster or slower?
slower.
Do you understand what I'm driving at?
Yeah.
Okay, so can we do this time with the correct note values? Good. So let's fix those things. It's a little bit better, but not enough. You know what? I'm going to play with you.
Oh.
because I want you to feel the timing differences. So the duplets are considerably broader than the triplets. Now, we also have to acknowledge those appoggiaturas. You missed them both times. Now, can we, while we're just, can you just do just the appoggiatura bits? Do you hear that? Yes. Right, you shouldn't be doing the opposite. Yeah, you shouldn't be singing when it's supposed to be singing. Right? Okay, so one more time from here. One, ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. So okay, one more time. 3, 4. Yeah, so don't speed up. Yes. Okay. Now, you understand what? Try by yourself.
Oh, I think my mom might have just texted me.
Huh? Oh.
No, it wasn't my mom.
Yeah, we have 20 more minutes to work on this, and then we have to go and meet her.
My friend
Yeah.
texted me, sorry.
What if it? Yeah. Do you want to mark it for yourself? Yes. So, do you know how to mark appoggiaturas?
No, I just circled it.
Oh, okay, that would work, but there's a more elegant way.
It's a more elegant way.
Yes. Just put a dash on it.
Oh, that's what it means?
Yes, it means, yeah.
I didn't know
Well, dashes don't always mean appoggiaturas, but if you have written them yourself on notes like this, you know that this is the meaning for this. It means lean on that, yes.
Okay. Do I start from the beginning?
Yeah, let's do that one more time. Yeah, I'm glad you're using so little bow because you will hit your the tip in the cabinet there. So stay farther away and use more bow as if you are to hit the cabinet. Okay, that's better. That's significantly better. Now we have to account for one more thing. How are your eyes? Do you have good eyes?
Not really, but I have contacts.
Me neither. Okay. Now, can you see this dot here? The dot above the G.
Sort of now. I never
Now.
saw that before.
Oh, so that was why you were ignoring it. Now, you must acknowledge it. And if you have a hard time seeing it, you can do this. To tell you that you have to, you know that when the dot is written here in this figure, we actually put space between these two. The space is not between these. The space is going to be here. Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's why I marked it like this. So
Okay.
Wow, we're putting dashes all over the place.
It's okay.
Okay, let's try one more time.
I sped up my notes.
Not as much as you used to, so yeah. Oh no, you started way early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this whole thing is very climactic here. So now as you arrive, do you know what pitch this is? Do you know what note that is?
Let me figure it out. Oh wait. B flat.
Correct. So when you get to that B flat, that's your highest note. Is that the highest note we played up till this point?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you really have to arrive on it with all the bells and whistles. And then it's not just you've arrived on it, you reiterate it. And then it goes downhill, but because of that tumbling down, there's going to be a natural diminuendo. So what you need to do to maintain it, because the diminuendo doesn't start until
You have to.
crescendo. You actually have to think crescendo into that. Okay. So let's. I love what you did here on this. Just make sure that the arrival really sounds like an actual arrival.
So do I start from the?
Yes, from letter D. Yes, yes. And now this crescendo has to be more explosive, leading to this. And you can start the diminuendo even later, and it doesn't have to get so soft so quickly. Have we talked about the meanings of crescendo and diminuendo? The fact that crescendo means that you play soft first and then it grows instead of playing instantly loud?
I think so.
Yeah. So can we put it into use here for this? Okay. Now let me also show you something. So which of these G's of these B flats here do you think is the most important one?
Probably like that one. Because.
The third one? And it's also in a weak metric spot.
Probably the first one. Because
Yeah, that's the arrival. But then we reiterated 3 more times after that, and the last one is in a strong metric spot. Well, it's not a downbeat, but the beat in this piece is often displaced anyway. So let's consider that this one is the important arrival here, the one that is circled. I don't know why it's circled, maybe because of the shift. But look. So even though it's in a slur, you can reiterate it and get yourself to a lower part of the bow. So with this, it has to become much more insistent and strong with that. So can we try from D one more time?
yes.
It sounds a little bit forced. Let's not force it. Good. So much better. You're getting tired, aren't you?
A little bit.
Okay, so let's just finish this and
I'm on shift.
yeah, you missed that one shift, but how are you going to practice it? I missed it too, so. So you arrive in what position here?
Wait.
On the E?
E.
So that's E with the second finger, so what position would that be?
6.
Right, so can you out of the blue just play that? Oopsie. So adjust as you need and try again. Yes, and now as you're doing this, can you really feel the shape of the hand? Now you don't need to be with that square finger. We determined that it's not advantageous to us to do that in those positions. So remember the hand shape for that. It's
I don't know. It's something with a beak, isn't it? It's that's what it feels like. Yes. So that's where you need to land after this. So it's almost like a reset of the hand on. Yes, that's. Yes, and then don't suddenly start rushing through this. So you have to be much more deliberate on it.
Sorry.
Yes, you do
Might
need to
even
keep
start
the
it
fingers
soon.
down. Yes, but yeah, better you can now. It still gets a little bit too anemic once we get to this. So if you want to get that soft, maybe put more vibrato so it doesn't dry out. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, so like fortissimo full bow on that with lots of vibrato and it just and also Ella raise the scroll and just strike a pose. But just don't hit the cabinets though. So yes, and just slower bow on the down bow. That bow has to take you to the front. Yes. So then you have to save your bow on the arpeggio. Now, you know what? I think you've worked hard enough today, so you can stop. So what are you going to work on when you get
I'm gonna
home?
work on my etude and keep cleaning it up and doing the shifts and doing all that. And on this, I'm gonna work on the dynamics and keeping
On expression.
yeah.
That's what you need because it sounded so beautiful.
I don't want to sound like the mechanical.
Oh gosh! Oh, that would give me a nightmare. You know. Yeah.
Unless I
want
just
to
give them lessons like that.
Well, you do want to vibrate
I
a
mean,
lot,
like,
but yes,
yeah.
but you want to play like a live, living, sensing, feeling being.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was a long time.
Well, we took a lot of breaks.
Well, yeah. Oh, this music stand is very kind of wobbly.
Well,
I don't really trust it.
do you want to pick it up?
Yeah,
Pick it up. Just pick it
I'll
up.
just pick it up. Okay. Yep. Oh wow, it's very light.
Yeah, because it's a travel music stand and it's ultralight and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
fine. We need to
You can
stop this.
You can
Yeah.
just close it.